Hi, this is Jason Romero, first and only blind person to run across America, keynote speaker, and coach on adversity and resilience. I'm coming to you today to talk to athletes specifically about success and resilience, and frankly, how resilience is part of that success cycle. The content of today's talk comes from my second book, The Success Cycle, published this in August of 2021. And this book is really a step-by-step process for how we all succeed, how the best of the best succeed in athletics, in business, in personal pursuits, in spiritual pursuits. It's all encompassed in here. And there's a 3-step process with an optional 4th step. I call it my AAA strategy: adversity, adaptation, and achievement. The optional piece there is the resilience loop, which comes when we fail. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So what is my background with athletics and how do I have expertise in this area? Well, I'm not a professional athlete, but I have went after some fairly significant events. Specifically, I've been a Paralympian. I have some world records. I've done Ironman triathlon. I've competed in some of the toughest races on earth, so they say, or they market themselves. The Badwater Ultra Marathon, which is a 135-mile foot race through Death Valley, California in July, 120 degrees when I did it. It was hot. Spartathlon, which is a 153-mile race from Sparta to Greece. You need to be invited to go there. It took me 3 attempts to complete that race. You actually only have 36 hours to run 153 miles, so you truly have to be running pretty much the entire time. I failed year 1, failed year 2, came back year 3, was able to figure out how to do it and actually completed the race. I've also ran my hometown 100-mile race, which is pretty tough, the Leadville 100 trail run. Done that several times. I actually failed there my first time, but then figured out how to do it. And also competed in what's called the Lead Man Challenge up in Leadville. And Leadville is a mountain town in Colorado that's 2 miles above sea level. Feels like when you're competing there, you have a sock stuffed in your mouth. It's just tough to get oxygen up there. Lead Man is a series of running and mountain biking events. And as I mentioned before, I am legally blind. I did the mountain biking events, not on a tandem bike, on a solo bike. And that was additionally tough, an additional challenge in there because I have like this little tube and extremely difficult to stay on the path and crashed several times. Anyway, was able to get things done. Long story short, I am an athlete as well, and that's how I know the success cycle applies to athletes. I want to share this knowledge specifically with athletes because as we go out there to challenge ourselves, to really grow through sport, there's going to be times where we are not going to meet our mark, and that's the purpose for today's talk, is to talk to you really about resilience and what we do when we fail to meet our mark. So as I mentioned before, success is a cyclical process. It is not a linear process. That's something else that I specifically state and challenge my readers to accept as part of the Success Cycle book. But when we get to the point where after we've had our dream, we've believed in our thought, we've gotten through our adversity, identified them, put together plans to overcome our adversity, and then went through and started executing on that plan and get to our attempt to achieve our goal, sometimes we miss the mark. And if this is new, if this is difficult, it is fairly commonplace to fail, especially when you're going after epic dreams, epic athletic goals. You may fail in those attempts. You may fail multiple times before achieving that goal. Think about it. If you're trying to run an 8-minute mile, 7-minute, 4-minute mile, whatever your athletic state is, it may take you several iterations and attempts and passes until you're able to achieve that goal. And that's when you fail and you drop into what I call the resilience loop. Now I got that on the screen right here. This is really, the quote failure, if you will, what, we commonly state as failure, but failure is just success in progress. Albert Einstein said that. And I like to call this the resilience loop. Now, what happens when we fail? I want to go specifically through this, athletes, piece by piece, because when we do hit that failure, there's a stop sign that we confront. And that stop sign it contains 2 emotions, pain and fear. And I want to give you a quick step-by-step process for how to overcome these 2 emotions. They can be paralyzing. They can stop you in your tracks. You can throw in your towel, but you also have the choice It is a choice to go through them. So here's the 2 techniques used to get past pain and fear. Number 1, dealing with pain. Pain operates in the present. Pain it could be physical pain, emotional pain, financial pain. There's a lot of different types of pain. It could be all that. What you do when you're experiencing pain is you acknowledge and accept it. And that's the way through it. You don't fight it. If you try to fight pain, pain is going to win. Pain is not gonna go away. Pain is temporary, will eventually go away, but in the moment, it's not gonna go away. You're not gonna make it go away by fighting with it. I like to call this, some of my friends call it the beast. So when you're running a 100-mile race, which I've done more than 20 of these things, inevitably it's gonna hurt. And there's gonna be pain. And I like to call it, like some friends like to call it, like the beast. When I'm going out to run a 100-mile race, I know that the beast is gonna show up. And when the beast shows up, I say hi to the beast, literally. I'm like, hi, I know you're here. I talk to it as if it were an animate thing. Hi, pain, I know you're here. I acknowledge you. You're not gonna stop me. Now I'm gonna keep on running. And then I move on. So I'm not trying to ignore it, give it power. I'm not fighting with it, giving it power, but I acknowledge and accept it and carry on. Pain is not gonna kill you. Pain can increase to a certain amount, but it's just like if you ever had the experience of downhill skiing or snowboarding. When you port those skis or your snowboard directly downhill, it seems like you're going to accelerate to an infinite speed, but there's not an infinite amount of acceleration. At a certain point, you stop accelerating. You're going as fast as is possible based on those circumstances because of friction, wind drag, a lot of different things. But it stops. And it's the same thing with pain. It feels like it's going to continue to increase and increase. It's not. It's not. So you acknowledge, you accept pain, and you move on. And that's your way to overcome that paralyzing aspect of pain, athletes. Number 2 is fear. And this plays with our head because we get fearful when we fail. We think of a lot of different things. I missed my mark on that competition. I'm going to get cut from the team. Or, I won't be able to, run on the varsity squad, or I won't get picked for the next race, or, there's a gazillion different things that could happen. I may get hurt before my next attempt. All of these things are emotions going on about something that would happen in the future and negative that would happen in the future. The way to combat fear is to exercise gratitude. Be grounded in gratitude. Gratitude is a positive experience, opposite of fear, and it's in the present, opposite of fear. So once we have that failure, instead of having all of this consternation about what could possibly happen in the future, all these negative possibilities, come back and ground yourself in the present with gratitude and be grateful. Wow, I just competed in this event. I'm really grateful to even have been selected to be on this team or to have gotten to the start line. To have even had the opportunity to get through, or to have the body to be able to do this, to have gotten through this particular event. What a great day. I'm outside, I'm moving around. I had the opportunity to live today. That is grounding yourself in gratitude. Those 2 strategies will get you past pain and fear. So with pain, acknowledge and accept it when the beast comes. With fear, exercise gratitude, ground yourself in gratitude. The other thing that happens when we fail and when we're in the resilience loop is you get stronger and smarter. So let me take you to these Spartathlon attempts when I was trying to run this 153-mile race in Greece. First year I got to just about mile 100. Second year I got to about like 120. Third year I actually finished 153. After year 1, I did not, think I could go on, all that type of thing. The pain and the fear, I exercised, gratitude, acknowledged, accepted pain. And then after about a week, when I started thinking about my strategy to get back there, I picked myself up. I had to emotionally pull myself back together. I got stronger there. I also got smarter because I realized what didn't work with my strategy to try to execute this thing. I was fit, but it was the execution of the race that was off. And there were a gazillion different micro adjustments that I changed in my plan. And I went back the next year, had a new plan, updated, revised, new and improved, executed, failed again. I had to in the second iteration, get even stronger and smarter. I picked myself up again after a second defeat. I'd never DNF'd 2 times at anything. And DNF did not finish. And, I had to emotionally pick myself up, pull myself together, put that ego in check and try again, get back to the drawing boards. And I got even smarter because I had gotten further along in the race. I'd overcome different obstacles, gotten past different time cutoffs, but I still did not get all the way to Sparta, which there's a statue there, the King Leonidas statue of him. That's the finishing point. But I had to go back to the drawing board and readjust my plan. Now, my plan was much different for my year 3 attempt than it was for my year 1 attempt because it had gotten improved through year 2 and intentionally improved again at year 3. So what happens when we fail, athletes, we are gaining knowledge. And that's important. We analyze our failures. We should also analyze our successes as deeply as our failures. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And eventually, we may end up in this iteration or failure cycle, attempt after attempt after attempt after attempt. But as long as we don't stop trying, we continue to get stronger and smarter and overcome that paralyzing stop sign of pain and fear, we are eventually going to achieve our goal. There's only one of 2 options that will happen. Either we will achieve our goal or we'll die trying. And option number 2 is pretty noble in my book. So athletes, pick up a copy of The Success Cycle. This thing really will step you through your athletic journey, your athletic process. It teaches you the process of what you are experiencing, and knowledge is power. Instead of just going through this, I guarantee you, you will understand and you will be able to relate to the process included in The Success Cycle. This is a 1-day read, very simple. I include a workbook in here so that you can actually go through the workbook. Be on the lookout for Success Cycle webinars. I have them specifically for athletes, for entrepreneurs, for leaders, for youth, and they're focused on these groups. Like I said, jasonromero.net is where you can find me and more information. My first book was Running into the Dark. This is a memoir and really a story about my run across the United States. Some people have found that interesting, so pick up a copy if you may be interested. Jason Romero, athletes, get out there, opt outside. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is success in progress. And when you do fail, remember you're in that resilience loop. You're getting stronger, smarter, better. You can do this. I believe in you. Onward.
If it doesn't challenge you, it is not going to change you.